Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel and welcome back, Lance. I am so honored to have you back on. How are you doing?
Great, great. Thank you, Tanya. How about you?
I'm doing excellent. Yeah, we actually have some sun. I know you guys in Florida, you kind of get quite a bit. It looks so bright there right now.
Yeah, it's actually a little, well, it's sunny today. It's a little cloudy, but it's overall sunny.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. We had a few like autumn is here. That's for sure, but it's beautiful. Like it's the change of colors is beautiful. And for those wondering, I just wanted to quickly ask, things are good for you and yours in Florida there. I know a lot of the Soul tribe and families, our hearts are with those in Florida and other places right now.
Yeah, thank you. We're fortunate to be okay where I'm at, and everything's good here. But definitely, it was quite a storm for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So all about continuing to pray for those and keep the vibes up, right? And not focusing on what we don't want to happen. We focus on the life that we want and the protection that we have. So yeah, so I'm super excited. We again, Mercury retrograde kind of got into our last interview, but we're out of the retrograde. We're here. I think the connection looks good. So I really would love to jump into your guys' newest product that you have introduced to your already amazing product line. And this is huge. Like this is the humic and fulvic acid is something I was just mentioning to you that I looked into this about 2 years ago and was because I was looking for like heavy metal detox and I was wanting to prepare for what I knew was coming of those around me. And I just wanted to find something that would be like a really good detox. But a gentle detox too. Like you have to be really careful when you're detoxing, especially if you're doing it like at home and not under the guise of like a naturopath or traditional Chinese medicine doctor. And this was the product that I was like, it's I think you've mentioned this before too. It's known as like the golden medicine in traditional Chinese medicine. It's in my opinion, it's probably one of the best natural detoxers that we've been given. And I mean, I want to hear you talk about it because you've got all the wisdom and knowledge, and I know you have an amazing quote. I don't know if you have that offhand, but that
Yeah,
quote to me was it was
yeah, exactly. If you can please allow me to share, then I'll share my screen and pull that up.
Let's see, I've never done that before. um Share screen. Does that give you access?
Yep. Perfect. Thank you.
Great. Thanks for teaching me something.
Yeah, neurogenesis. So, what you were talking about, the fulvic and humic, like I got into this when I discovered it. I instantly knew I really wanted to get this out to humanity. I mean, I tried it first and learned as much as I could about it. And after experiencing it and learning what I did, I knew that I wanted to really help get this out to the world because of what it does. And I want to just read a quote real quick that describes what fulvic acid is from a high level point of view, and then I'll describe what it actually is and what it's doing. So this PhD soil scientist, he has this quote about humic acid that said fulvic acid, which is in humic acid naturally, and it says, if the creator felt it necessary to design something to solve multiple problems, and if this creator wanted to show us the magic and miracle of pulling rabbits from a hat, then an outstanding job was done with the design of fulvic acid. And you can see this is just an old alchemical artwork painting. This is the alchemical fermentation process, which is symbolic of the essence of the creation of humic and fulvic from vegetable decomposition. So what happens in the soil, organic matter, leaves, plants, deceased animals, things like that will eventually turned back into organic matter, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, amino acids, minerals, vitamins, so forth, over hundreds of thousands and millions of years, and create this black substance known as fulvic or humic acid. And fulvic acid is naturally present within humic acid. So it comes from the earth. And what it does overall is huge detox effects, supports brain health, energy production, and the synthesizing of DNA and RNA within cells. So Chinese medicine actually called it Wujinsan, which means golden medicine. And the fulvic acid has a golden color as a liquid, but what we offer is a capsule product that has the humic and fulvic in the powdered form. It's a lot easier to take. The liquid versions of these do not taste good, most of them. So the powder and the capsule form of the powder is typically like the best way and easiest way to do it. So humic acid actually acts as a prebiotic. So it feeds all the good bacteria in the gut. And what's really interesting is that we humans all obviously have different bacteria in our systems, and the good bacteria, the beneficial, feeds off of different fibers, and those fibers help those to proliferate and grow and multiply. And so that's why people say it's recommended, you want to get fiber, you need fiber for a lot of different things. It really comes down to it's feeding the microbiome and all the beneficial microbes. And what happens with humic is that it's so unique. It's like the universal prebiotic. All probiotics can feed off of humic and help to proliferate. So it's not just like we're taking, some sort of like acacia gum fiber or, some other sort of fiber that's only feeding certain strains. We can feed all of them. And then the small molecular size of fulvic acid means that it can cross the blood-brain barrier and actually help carry nutrients into cells and detoxify waste out of cells. So this is just a short little clip, kind of showing blood-brain barrier. This is just more of a conceptual thing. It's not showing fulvic acid doing what it does, but just a good visual of what can happen. And then I think one of the most mind-blowing facts about fulvic acid is that it has 14 tetratrillion electrons that it can donate. It's 14 with 21 zeros behind it. So you can see this number here. And that's per fulvic acid compound. So what that does is it helps to scavenge free radicals, catalyzes enzyme reactions, chelates heavy metals. It supports electrochemical balance between the cells. So the way that cells communicate through electricity, fulvic acid actually, you could view it as like a little mini battery charger because it provides this little like trickle charge for cells. So it's literally providing voltage and life for cells. It's amazing.
I get chills like when you talk about this. I'm just like chills everywhere.
Amazing. Thank you. And it's truly this incredible. Like I learned about this stuff 9 years ago and wanted to get this out as fast as possible because I know what it does. And, a lot of people do. And it's still not even that well known. I mean, a lot of people within the health and wellness fields do know about it, but it's still not that well known.
Yeah.
So it's becoming a lot more popular for sure. And, the fact that it detoxes so well, it's going to only increase in popularity and awareness.
Yeah, especially now that, what we've gone through, but also like how many people are waking up to the systems that we've been in and, our food systems, our water system, our medical system, all these things that have, heavy metals and toxins and all of that in them. We all have these in us, whether you have taken this or not. You've got heavy metals in you, you've got toxins in you, they're all around you. I love that you bring up the blood-brain, how it crosses the blood-brain barrier. A lot of people don't understand what that means and how a lot of products don't do that. And the ability to be able to cross the blood-brain barrier, like you spoke about, it goes into the cells and it's able to work more than just on a kind of surface level. When you speak about it, I truly like I just get these like downloads of like, this is like Source and Mother Gaia truly coming together to create like a gift of detoxification, like from the earth and from the source. Because when you talk about like the alchemy of it, you know, this is like you said, it's from the earth, and it like transmutes all the toxins and heavy metals that we have, and then it puts that like electronic, you know, it's just, that's literally Mother Gaia and earth. Just it's amazing. So I'm just so pumped that you guys have. When I first heard you mention it, I don't think it had been launched yet, but you mentioned it and I was like, oh. Because like you said, it's not a really well known, for how amazing of a product it is. It's not that well known. And for those of you that don't know, if you have looked into it, it's also like very expensive for most places to be able to find it. And then you don't know, like, I love how, and which I really want to hear about the way that you source it and stuff. Like a lot of times you find something online and you don't know, how are they sourcing this? What are they giving back to the earth? Like, how are they doing this? And so I had, like I said, I looked into this about 2 years ago. I really wanted it. I talked to my naturopath and traditional Chinese medicine doctor that I work with and see. And, it was like, oh yeah, this is what I need to do. But it's like, man, this stuff is expensive. But your guys is so affordable and accessible. And I want to hear more about how you guys source it, because that part to me really hit my heart.
Yeah, definitely. So we source it. We work with indigenous land, and it's blessed by the indigenous and the people that we work with. It's sacred and blessed. And I can't say the exact location, but it is in the United States. And it just comes from a very amazing high vibe place, and really just profound. And what we do to separate ourselves from product wise from other capsule powdered products is that our humic acid compound is 20 times smaller than your average humic compound. And so what that means is going to be, in theory, greater bioavailability and ability to get into the cells and do, everything that we just talked about, and ideally at a more optimized rate or function.
So amazing. Like, I love how you guys always just like take it up like a few more notches. Like, you bring the like really amazing products, but then the way that you source them, the way that you do, things like that, where it's just like you're stepping up, you level it up like on such an amazing level, and still keeping it affordable for people to be able to take in these things. And that's where I hold a lot of respect for you guys, because you look at other companies and stuff, and it is out of the range for a lot of people. And then you're wanting to be able to do these things for yourself and your family, and it's unattainable. But you guys don't do that. So it's definitely something, especially as a solo mama, like, I appreciate those things. These are, health and wellness is probably my biggest place I spend my next to food.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. And exactly, what we're trying to do is create the purest, cleanest, most optimal products.
Yeah. And for people that that are watching and being like, well, why do I need to do this kind of stuff? I've never heard about this, from my doctor doesn't talk about this. There's a reason why, westernized medical doctors don't talk about these things. For one, they may not know them. They're not taught these things these are things you have to search on your own. It would be traditional Chinese medicine doctors and naturopaths that are learning this stuff. And even them, they would have to search on their own for some of these things. I do got to watch some of the things I say on here. I get carried away sometimes, but if you look at it from like those that are really working on like a spiritual aspect as well, like being able to cleanse these toxins and these heavy metals, and And just to give yourself like a really good cleanse is so important for your spiritual journey. In order to be to grow in your spirituality, you have to be really taking care of yourself from the inside out, and that's cleansing and detoxification as well. And I know you have a really solid practice and things that you do with, you know, sun gazing, detoxification, eating clean, breath work, meditation, and this is all part of that. Like it really is a whole lifetime, like a whole lifestyle change. You really need to change every part of you when you're
Yeah.
on the spiritual.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, just super excited that you guys have added this. I ordered mine like right away. I was like in the cart. I had originally I did a zeolite when I couldn't find a product that I felt comfortable enough ordering from until now I found yours. But I had done a zeolite about a year and a half ago for a cleanse, but I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, yeah, and it's powerful too. I mean, not overwhelming, but it is a powerful substance, and
Yeah.
It can help.
Yeah. Before we get into the DHA, the LJ DHA, I just want to, because I didn't give you a heads up on this, but because you mentioned your liver detox. And I know some people are like, well, if I'm doing this detox, would I need to do liver, or can I do them at the same time? And I wanted to see what you thought. So from my knowledge, when you're doing detoxes, it is really good to also focus on your liver so that it can fully like detox. So doing, again, like a gentle detox is a really good thing to kind of like incorporate together. Is that kind of what you feel and your knowledge around that as well?
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, of course, like if a person reacts or has detox symptoms, like, you know, stop. And, you know, if you have to, you know, speak to your naturopath or your healthcare provider. But, you know, outside of that, definitely the peak liver with the humic is a great combination. And a person, what they can do is, instead of doing, like, if they want to do it gently, instead of doing 2 capsules of each product per day, you could do 1 capsule of each per day to just kind of, you know, ease into it. And if you want to increase it, you know, as you're comfortable, you certainly can.
Yeah, that's such a great point to bring up to people, and to realize too, for people who haven't done detoxes before, there are certain symptoms, like you have to make sure you're really staying hydrated, drink lots and lots of water while you're detoxing, eat clean, right? Don't go and eat a whole bunch of junk food while you're detoxing, because you're like headaches is a common one for detoxing. Obviously, purging out of your body is another common one. So just so people are aware of those types of things, right? Because sometimes I know, even working, I work at a naturopath office, and when people are doing detox, they'll call and be like, "What's wrong with me? Like, what's wrong with these?" And it's like, well, no, that's, you know, that is, as you're detoxing, that is like part of it. But like you said, listen to your body, and if you're feeling like it's too much, cut it back a bit, and you can work your way up to it. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. So the next product, if you've got time still, I would love to talk about the LJ and DHA, because this is a huge, like DHA is huge. And I don't think enough people speak about DHA. As a mom who have, you know, I've had kids, I've been pregnant, and with my kids now, like DHA is one of the main things that any woman who is thinking of having kids, or is pregnant, or has kids, should both be taking for yourself and for your kids. It's so important to like brain health, the nervous system, the vision, muscular system, mitochondrial, cardiac, like the, I mean, it literally covers like so many things, and it's not talked about. Like it's just one of these things that so many people are like, they don't think about why do they want to take essential omega fatty acids, right? So what do you have to say about that, Lance?
Well, you're exactly right. And DHA is needed in every cell membrane in our body. So the membrane that wraps around cells, DHA has to be in all of them. And this is something that's biologically built into us. Like, we need these fats. So that's why it's been often suggested to take fish oil or, eat salmon or eat fish for these fatty acids, but the fish get it from the algae. And so that's where we go, just to the source, to get the algae. And, for mothers and children, just like you said, I mean, the brain is 60% fat, and 90% of those fats have to be omega-3s. 90% of the omega-3s in the brain needs to be DHA. Okay. And that's like 10 to 20% of the total lipids in the brain has to be DHA. And when a child is being developed in a mother's womb, the baby needs these fatty acids, not just DHA, but EPA and other smaller fatty acids. But this DHA is most important for the brain and nervous system, the eyes, and really helping that baby to develop fully. When a child is born, the brain will produce up to 1 million synapses per second. And this is, a stat coming from Harvard. So it's pretty interesting. And I almost didn't believe it, but it's really incredible what the brain can do. And, I looked more into it and did validate that is indeed a fact. Like, I had even read that up to 2 million synapses per second. So I just went with the lower number. And that's what's there. But, mothers really need to get the DHA. It's been shown to help with IQ for their children, especially taken over time, while the baby is being developed in the womb. The mother can benefit from taking this. There's even national governments who will recommend certain amounts for pregnant and nursing mothers. So it's completely safe. And that's, just one of the reasons why we have this, is because we offer the cleanest version of this in the market, literally. I mean, I've looked at all the algae oil companies. I've looked at many of the fish oil companies, not all of them, but there aren't going to be an issue with heavy metals, pesticides, microbes, things like that. So it's super clean and pure. And that's obviously what we all want, but in particular, a pregnant and nursing mother, for their developing baby or their child who's been born, like, that is super important. So that's what we offer, is this clean product. And what we suggest, based on what other organizations have suggested, is 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams per day. And that can actually raise a person's omega-3 index, which is just sort of like a biomarker of overall health. And you can do that. You can raise your levels. The average American here in America is at about 4%, a little less than 4%. And I would assume it's mostly the same around the world. And we really want to be at about 8 to 12%. So if we can take 1,000 to 2,000 per day, there's studies showing that a person's omega-3 index percentage can go up after 3 to 6 months of use. And that's actually, like, even though it might sound slow, in some ways it is. In other ways it's not, because remember, we have to literally saturate our bodies with these fats, and it will take a little bit of time. But the good news is that there's so many robust studies that have been done showing the amounts and the time that we actually have a good marker to what we can suggest based on those studies of what can a person actually benefit from, and how can it actually, raise that percentage and elicit the health supportive properties that it can do.
I love that.
Yeah. So, a person would have to eat like 5 to 10 servings of salmon per week to get that amount. And most people just aren't going to do that.
No.
So this truly is a food and a supplement, in that if someone's already eating fish and approximately how much DHA you're getting, you can supplement in the rest of it to get up to 1,000 or 2,000. Or if you're not getting any, it's a great way to actually, use it as a supplement to get up to those levels if you're at 0 right now. So, it's really exciting because we have such good data of what to suggest for amounts. The study's been done on fish oils, algae oils, on humans, on athletes, non-athletes, and it's all pointing to the same numbers and the same figures. So it's really quite exciting what happens.
I love that. I love it. And to confirm again, with where I work, I see the amount of people that within their protocols from the naturopaths, DHA is in a lot of people's protocols that they need to add into their program. And the one naturopath that works a lot with pregnant women and with people trying to have kids, every single one of them goes on DHA. You know, that just confirms exactly what you're saying here, right? And also just how you spoke about that they're not all made the same, and that's true. We actually found that one of the products that we were carrying that was a liquid, one of the doctors was looking into it, and she found that it was sourced from tuna, and she's like, no, I'm not. She's like, take that off the shelf. I'm not. She's like, I am not selling that. We are not offering that, especially to pregnant women. So again, like people, like do your research, like look into the things that you're hearing Lance talk about. If you, even myself, like, I mean, a lot of these things I can get at my work, but I'm slowly switching them all to your products because I value, and I know, like, I'm researching what you're talking about and what you guys, how you're sourcing them. And it's top notch. And I really respect that, about how you guys do things. And to kind of toot my son's horn a little bit, he is my baby that with my girls, I didn't know as much as I did when I had him. My girls are older. And although I was on the beginning of my like journey, I didn't supplement as much with DHA as I did with my son, and like made sure the moment I found out I was pregnant, it was like I started taking DHA, and then all through the 2.5, 3 years, however long I nursed him for, taking it, and then now he gets supplemented with it, and he's brilliant. Like, he's so smart. He's just so like, everything that he's done has just like surpassed like anything. People always think like, how old is he? I'm like, I know, he's like, and I really contribute to things like that. I mean, obviously that's part of his essence and who he is, but I truly believe that. I'm not saying that my girls aren't. I just see the difference of like his development from like certain things that they developed in. So
that's amazing.
yeah.
And I believe like it literally can raise IQ, and it's been shown to do that. And I mean, when it's saturating the brain and nervous system and all the neurons, of course, it's going to make it work better. And I mean, hypothetically, it's going to then, increase intelligence and increase creativity and, things like that.
Yeah, I love it. And it's basically like, I kind of see it another thing of like activating our DNA. Like, do you kind of believe that part of it too, how it's like activating our DNA? Like when, again, in the spiritual community, for people talking about how do I activate my DNA? How do I, this is like, can you talk about the telomeres? Or I'm probably saying that wrong.
Yeah, no, that's right.
Okay.
And I'll touch on that, and I'll say something about what you just said about the DNA. So I believe that for sure, because the DHA is facilitating the movement of light in the body, and it really starts with the eyes, because the photons from the sun come and hit. It's transformed into an electrical signal that the brain reads. And really what it is, it's light, and light is information. And our DNA is simply a, holographic liquid crystal that is just transmitting and receiving information, and it's done with light. So DHA helps with that. There's one scientist who's said that DHA is actually more important than DNA itself. It's a whole another long story, but he has compelling arguments, and he's a PhD neuroscientist who leads human nutrition at Oxford University in London, I believe. Very respected, a very good humanitarian. He's won so many different awards for his scientific work, and he's making these statements. And he made it 10 years ago, So, you know, there's something there to it, and it ties into the quantum physics and quantum coherence and quantum tunneling and things like that. So mainstream is a little bit reluctant to acknowledge, but it doesn't matter, because if people take it, that's ultimately what we want, is people getting DHA in the diet, regardless of where it's from. That's the overall mission, is to increase DHA in people's and animals' diets. But of course, you want to do it the cleanest you can, and that's what we offer.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. And
Yeah.
so before you talk about the telomeres, can you explain a little bit how you guys, because you do the water extract, right? And that, like, again, that's another very big, important thing that I feel like people need to hear about is, again, how are you like sourcing it and creating this product for people?
Yeah, we water extract it. In other algae oil companies, we use hexane to extract. And then what happens is the natural ratio of DHA to EPA is thrown off due to that process. And then they mix in other seed oils, and we'll then use it as a marketing claim of, you know, you're getting these other beneficial oils, but they have to put them in there to help and help stabilize it. And that's not really the case. It doesn't have to be that way. So we water extract, and we get a pure, clean, golden algae oil. That's 1,000 milligrams of DHA, 10 of EPA per serving, and then about 20 other fatty acids that we need. Smaller amounts, but still present.
I love that. I love that. And like for people, like if look into different types of way to extract things, like essential oils is a huge thing in my life. That it is a big part of my life. And, you know, even so knowing water extracts and all those types of different ways, even within, like, we'll have to get into your hemp oil another day too, but there's just the way that you guys do things. It's just, yeah, I'm always just blown away that you do it the most top-notch way.
Yeah, thank you, Tanya. I appreciate it. And, you know, the telomeres, they're these little tips on the end of chromosomes within DNA. And some people know that it's been popular over the past really like 5 or 6 years. We want to help the telomeres health, because when we do that, that equates to longer cellular health. So, and healthier our telomeres are, the longer, in theory, cells can live and do what they need to do and express optimally. So DHA actually supports the size of the telomeres, and there's studies showing that. And the job of the telomeres is to protect the longevity of the genetic information. So it's protecting these chromosomes to make up the DNA. But there's a lot of different things that will shorten telomeres over time. And so we want to do things that help to lengthen them or keep them in a healthy state. And DHA is one of those things that we can do, and one of the most important things we can do. So that just helps with the telomeres, and it helps our DNA and the chromosomes function the way that they need to. And this kind of ties into nutri-epigenetics or nutri-epigenomics. There's different ways to look at it, but basically how nutrients affect genetic expression within us. So it's really cutting edge stuff. It's mind blowing. It's exciting. There's a lot more to learn. And just the overall point is that DHA really helps with this.
Yeah, I love that, because it's so true. It is mind blowing, and there's always so much to learn. I always like to think of the telomeres, and this is just me, but because of, like, you know, the activating the DNA, I feel like there are these little like antennas to source, and just like the more you can support them and help them grow, and it's like those are your antennas to source and you know, creator, being able to activate your DNA. And you know, that's again these two products, right? The algae DHA and the humic and fulvic acid. Fulvic acid, sorry. I feel like they are a beautiful combination to, like, if you really want to step up your, you know, your ascension process and your spiritual journey. I think which is why I wanted to speak about these two together. Like, I feel like they are such a beautiful combination.
I literally believe with my heart and soul that that's 100% spot on that it is helping with the opening and developing and awakening of consciousness, and literally helping us to become, you know, the best version of ourselves. I literally genuinely believe that. And that's like one of the main reasons why we brought this out, is to help shift consciousness and shift human health.
I love it. And I mean, that's the name of your business, you know, ascend, it's all about ascending, right? And yeah, I mean, I just chills all the time. Every time I hear you speak about the products and your wisdom and knowledge, it's just like, I resonate with it because it's, it's pure, right? Like you're not, you're not trying to just sell a product. And that's like, I've seen, it's that this part of my journey has been about 15 years now about, you know, health and wellness. So I mean, and I've got a pretty good like intuition, so I can usually catch things, and it's totally different with you and the wisdom and knowledge that you have and the amount of research you've done. Um, it shines through, you know, and when you actually start using the products, you feel it, and you feel it like quite quickly. I'll admit, like I'm actually surprised, especially like, you know, I kind of had thought I was already taking really good products. But then it's like, as I move into some, like, I mean, even your coffee, right? Like these are all things that it's like, you notice them very quickly. And that's also like the energy that you guys put into it, right? It's your guys' energy is also part of all of your products, as well as the energy, like you talk about, like how you're sourcing them and giving back to those around, you know, where you're sourcing things from, the indigenous people, all of these things. That all is a huge factor in really taking like the cleanest, most purest products you can take. So I really, really thank you guys for that. How much you guys have put into your business. I know you are like a fountain of knowledge. This is like your journey's like, let's talk about, if you have time, your journey through health and wellness has been also quite a while.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. It started about 12 years ago. I mean, in some ways longer than that, but um, I saw what can happen with pharmaceuticals and how they can warp the mind, and what that can ultimately lead to.
Oh, did I lose you? Well, I think I might have lost you. I don't know, guys. I'm sorry. I think we might